All right, so I'm still in the garage with the Bianchi. This is, I don't know, the third, fourth video I've made today. I'm just kind of on a roll today. And I had another idea for another one that I thought would be beneficial to people. I have a lot of bikes in my garage. Too many probably. My idea is basically, in my previous video, I was talking about how you can, or at least I briefly mentioned the fact that if you're buying a new bike, then you can get one secondhand, generally speaking, a lot cheaper than you would get a new one. Obviously, you're going to warranty with it, but you can buy new parts. And through my channel and others, you can learn how to fix it and put it together and have a thing that's a lot better than what you would get brand new for that price. So something I want to do is make a quick little video to go over the things to look for so that when you're buying a bike, you know whether or not it's got like some fucking skeletons in the closet that you don't know about. So I got my Bianchi here. This is a bike I bought secondhand. I'm basically going to quickly go through what I did when I bought this bike. Okay, so let's get you guys lined up there. That work okay? That work all right? Come on. All right, there's good. We're just gonna go right there. Okay, cool. We got the bike. You can see the bike. Bikes have lots of different parts. The first thing I would do would be pick up the bike. Like, you know, I'm just going to take it out and stand. Let me show you that. Shift this shit back. Give me 2 seconds. My organizational skills are not the best in the world. Much better at fixing bikes than planning fucking videos, evidently. Right. So we got the bike. First thing you're going to do, pick it up. That's about normal, right? If you get any major fucking clangs, then there's some things you want to check. First things I normally check are, I grab the handlebars, just give the bike a little bounce. If it doesn't feel solid, feels like there's a little wobble, what you can do is put your fingers around these little spacers. You'll have the stem, if it's a modern-ish bike. You get quill stems on older ones, you won't have this, it'll be different. But you get a stem like this, you can give it a little twist those. My headset spacers are actually a little bit loose. I should tighten those up. Good job of making this video. But generally you'll feel a little bit of movement, a little bit of wiggle. Where you can grab the bottom of the fork and just shake it. That's my saddlebag, don't worry about that. Check the headset, because that can be not necessarily an expensive one to fix, but a bit of a pain in the arse. The next thing you're going to check is the front wheel. Just spin it. Does it spin freely? Don't know if you can hear that, but there's a tiny little bit of a buckle on my front wheel. It's basically true, but it's just a little tiny bit out. So you can tell if the rim brakes are working okay. You can give the levers a feel. Do they feel solid? When you pull them, do they go back to the original position, or are they a bit sticky? If they're a bit sticky, you're probably going to need a brake service at the very least. Another thing you want to do, especially if it's rim brake, is take 2 fingers like this, and what you're going to do is just imagine this is shit. Imagine this is shit. Fucking imagine this guy could actually make a video. Right, so I'm just going to hold the wheel up and show you. So you got your rear wheel. What you're going to do is just take your fingers and feel the rim. It should feel flat. If it feels concave, then the rim's fucked. It's perished, it needs replaced. It's not safe. It's really not safe. Depending on how severe it is, you might get away with it, but if you got rim brakes, then you really want to check that one. These are fine. You want to check for hub play, so when you grab the wheel, it should not wobble. If it wobbles, check the quick release. Check this, make sure the wheel's in tight. If it is, then there's play in the hub. Usually it just needs serviced, but it's one to watch out for when you're buying a new bike. Do the same thing on the front. Check that. Check the front wheel, it doesn't wobble. So that's your headset, that's your hubs. Next one you want to check is your bottom bracket. That is, God, gotta get a wider fucking angle lens. That is this thing down here. These are your main bearings. You got your hubs, you got your headset, and you got your bottom bracket. What you want to do is with the bike on the ground, you're essentially going to rock this backwards and forwards. Not this way. Not like you're pedaling backwards and forwards, but through the bike, like you're trying to saw down the middle of the bike. Grab one crank, grab the other one, shake them. There should be movement in the direction of pedaling. There should not be movement laterally, side to side. So check those things. Those are your main ones to look out for. Do your brakes work? Then go sit on it. Have a little test ride. This is another very important one, especially if you're buying an old steel bike. Does the saddle move up and down? Because sometimes the seat post is seized. And if it's seized at the wrong height and everything else is perfect, you might have just bought a bike that doesn't fit you. There are ways and means of getting a seized seat post to move. Pardon me, but it's a thing that's better avoided because it's a pain in the ass. Those are the main things. Check your headset's not loose. Check your hubs are okay. Another quick little one you can do. If you look down here, we got the cassette. Just give it a little wiggle. Does it want to wiggle? Just try and move it. Does it wiggle? It doesn't wiggle. On this one, it's fine. If it does wiggle, I mean, it depends how much money you're spending on the bike. Cheaper by... You know, I'm not going to get into that right now. Yeah, those are the main things you want to check. Does the saddle go up and down? Do the brakes work? Are the wheels straight? Do the tires have tread left in them? Another thing you can do, I mentioned in an earlier video, is you can take a chain checker with you. Because if the chain's fucked, it means you're going to have to replace the drivetrain, right? But take it for a little spin. Put a chain checker on it. Check the chain. Check the tires. See if the tires are healthy. Check if the wheels are straight. Just spin them. Look down it. Does it look straight? If it looks straight, it's all good. Wobble the wheels in the frame. Make sure there's no play in the hubs. Wobble the crank arms. The arms that the pedals are attached to. These. Wobble those. Oh, I can actually show you like this. Right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to grab... This is important. You're going to grab through the frame and you're just going to rock it side to side and see if you can find any movement. I'd also give the pedals a little spin. These are fairly cheap and inexpensive to replace. Just try and spin them that way and then try and spin them the other way. These do have a little bit of play in them, but it doesn't really bother me. It doesn't affect my riding experience. Take it for a spin. Is it comfortable? That's something else. Very important. Is it comfortable? Because if it's not comfortable, you don't like it, well, you know, there's no point buying the fucking bike, no matter how cheap it is. When you stand beside the bike, if you put your leg over it, your crotch should just kind of clear the top tube on a road bike, on a bike like this kind of double triangle design, by about an inch. If it's like a more modern mountain bike geometry, something like this, where the top tube slopes down a little bit more, then you'll probably have a bit more clearance. Another little tip you can do, once you put your hands on the bars, on a road bike, if you put them about here, when you look down, you should just be able to see the edges of the front hub. If you can see the front hub clearly, it's too short for you. If you can see it clearly from the back, it's probably too short. You want it to kind of be a little bit invisible. Yeah, those are some main buyer bewares. Check the chain, check the gear shift. On the note of gears, one more thing. This piece in here, where is it? This black piece, so you got your derailleur, you got your frame, and then you got this. This is your derailleur hanger. This is the piece that connects your derailleur to the bike. Have a look and see if it's straight. If your derailleur is like wonked into the wheel, that's a sign that the bike's probably not being taken. If you check those things, the hanger's straight, the wheels are straight, there's no play in the hubs, no play in the bottom bracket, no play in the headset, the seat post moves up and down, the brakes move well, the rims are in decent nick. If you have hydraulics, it's worth squeezing the lever and making sure that both pistons, if you look into the brake when you squeeze the lever, just try and make sure you can see that both pistons are actually coming like out and in. They're both moving. If they're not, then you can get them serviced, but it's a bit of a nightmare, and quite often once they're full of gunk, they're just kind of full of gunk. And don't buy a Cannondale. Fucking don't buy a Cannondale. Those are just rife with issues. Some people might hate me for saying that, but they're fine in the US, I guess, where you can definitely always get spares, but the amount of issues I have had with Cannondales, Jesus. Nah. Alright. Anyway, I'm not going to go on a rant about Kraken fails. Apollos suck, but, you know, if you take an Apollo to a halfway decent mechanic, they can probably get it to run. You gotta be good to get an Apollo to feel comfortable and to feel good, to feel like a good bike. Yeah, apart from that, is it comfy? Do you like the color? You know, do you like the bike? These are the main things. Think about what you're going to be using it for. Well, this bike is not evidently not a mountain bike, right? Evidently not a fucking mountain bike. It's designed for road cycling. It's designed for distance riding. It's designed for speed. It's not the most comfortable bike I have. I have other bikes that are more comfortable. The tires on this are pretty. I have bikes where the tires are significantly wider, like my touring bike, where the tires are chunky, and the saddle's a lot more comfy, and it's got a pannier on it, and mud guards, and a kickstand. You know, it's built for labor things. What kind of riding are you going to be doing? If you want a good kind of general purpose bike, then I would get a hardtail mountain bike, cross-country hardtail mountain bike. Anything from the 90s, early 2000s, mid 2010s. Something with like double or triple gears on the front, 8-9 speed on the back, cable brakes, hydraulic brakes, doesn't really matter. Something like that is going to be a real solid starter for your biking journey, for commuting, for like light adventures at the weekend. You can put a pannier rack on it, you can put mud guards on it, you can go bike touring on it, you can do whatever. Those bikes like this bike here, perfect. It's like a cross-country hardtail. Flat handlebars, nice and ergonomic, nice and comfortable. Nice. I think the saddle's a bit past its best. You can't really, let me get the light. You got 3 gears on the front, you got 8 on the back. Little 26s, nice semi-slick road mountain tires, space for bottle cages, mud guards. It's got lights on it. It's got a decent fork. It's solid. Fucking great. These bikes are awesome. Or Trek Marlin 6. That's a bit more modern version. 29ers, those are rolled down the road real well. But you just got to decide what it is you want to do. If you want a bike that's going to commute well, that you're going to enjoy, that you're going to have for years, that you could is really versatile, I get a hardtail cross-country mountain bike every time. If you are doing road riding, obviously you're going to want a road bike, and if you want to do longer, maybe bicycle touring or bike packing, or you know what, I'll get into that in another video. Get yourself a cross-country hardtail mountain bike. One with a suspension fork on the front, 26, 27.5, 29ers. It doesn't make a huge difference. 29ers will generally roll faster. Yeah, that's about it. Good luck. Don't buy a Cannondale. Ride safe.